So I'm back in my dorm. Yay, I guess, for the next 2 weeks. So today I want to talk about why I think multilingualism is important, speaking as a multilinguist. As you know, I speak 4 languages. I speak English and Spanish fluently, and I speak really rather decent German, I think. My Russian, I'm only in Russian 101, so my Russian has a long way to go, considering that language is one of the hardest languages to learn. But and I've been learning languages since I was 5. I was in a Spanish immersion program, so I was completely immersed in Spanish from the first day of kindergarten on. And then my junior year in high school, I decided that I wanted to take German, so I did 4 semesters online of that, and I'm in 203 right now, which is a entry-level sophomore. And then I'm in Russian 101, and I'm planning on taking, in no particular order, Italian, Japanese, Swedish, Dutch or something, well, just for the fun of it. And yeah, that's my list so far. So I think languages are really, really, really important for people to learn, and I really dislike the fact that a lot of people write it off. A lot of school systems mandate that you take 2 levels of a foreign language. But I think being able to speak languages is a really important skill that a lot of, at least Americans, just kind of write off as something that's useless, considering how widespread English is. And I can understand their point, because English is spoken in a lot of places, but I also think it's a bit egotistical for Americans to be like, yeah, I speak English, so I don't need to learn another language. Because, truth be told, multilingualism is a lot more widespread than monolingualism, which means speaking one language. I'm majoring in German with a minor in Russian, and I haven't decided whether or not I'm going to try and pick up linguistics or another language as my either double major or minor or something. So I think language is a really important thing to learn, and I really dislike it when Americans decide that they're going to go on vacation somewhere and don't bother learning anything about the language at all, like even as a common courtesy. Considering how big the world is, there's so many languages out there, and I mean, like, you can learn a couple of phrases, you know, like get there and be able to say, hi, my name is Megan, I'm from America, I don't speak your language very well, I could really appreciate any help you could give me, and then, you know, learn how to ask for directions and learn how to order at a restaurant. I think those are like the bare minimum for going to another country. And a lot of people just kind of write it off and they're like, yeah, I'm going to go to like Spain or Germany and, you know, expect the locals to, you know, cater to us. Considering that I've heard a lot of people here in America complain that we put Spanish billboards up, or that we have instructions in Spanish in a few places because there's so many Spanish-speaking people here, and they're all like, oh, well, if they're going to move to this country, they need to learn to speak our language. But it's a double-edged sword, you know? I mean, language is how we communicate, and language is really, really important, and I might save that for another video. Because without language, we really wouldn't be anything at all. I mean, there are studies showing that without language, like without having the word for to think, we wouldn't be able to really think about thinking, you know? Like, we have to have those words to be able to feel anything. I mean, and it makes you wonder, you know, like, are there emotions or something that we don't feel or don't know that we feel because we don't have words for them? But, so languages in itself are really important, and I think it's also really important to be able to communicate with other people. I mean, your country, people who speak your language, is just a fraction of the entire world. And there are so many other cultures that you could, you know, be immersing yourself in, so many other languages you could learn. There's so much good that can be done with learning another language that a lot of people just write off as some, you know, like, fun pastime, I guess. But I want languages to be my life. I want to be able to call myself a polyglot, and I want to be able to learn as many languages as I possibly can. And I definitely think that it's a good venture, you know, considering, like I've said, how wide the world is and how many different kinds of people there are. And, you know, it's funny because speaking one language affects the way you think. I mean, English speakers tend to, for example, if someone asks who broke the couch, they'll put the blame on someone else because that's how our language is structured. Whereas Spanish-speaking people will say it broke because that's the way their language is structured. And so there's a lot of different perspectives that come from being able to speak different languages and being able to, like, understand different languages. And then there's the fact that there's an entire world out there, and do you really want to be stuck in your little tiny corner of the world? I want to see it all. So I'm learning languages, and I think everyone should. But I'll see you in like 2 weeks, because that's when finals are over.